South Carolina pastor now facing 2 lawsuits accusing him of sexually assaulting underage girls. You might remember Pastor John Paul Miller after his estranged wife, Micah Miller, died by suicide last year.
I had to keep my circle really small for the past couple weeks just because I'm going through a lot and it's hard and it's my cross to bear. It's the thing that God has put in my life to deal with, and I don't want to bring a lot of people into it.
So many questions still around Micah's death. And John Paul has found himself investigated by the FBI, but to be clear, he's never been charged with his 30-year-old beautiful wife's death. Well, now, 2 different women are coming forward alleging that the pastor sexually assaulted them years before while he was working as a teacher and a pastor at the church that his father founded. The newest suit was filed by an anonymous woman who says that John Paul attacked her back in 1999 when she was just 15 and a student at the school. According to the suit, it says in part the plaintiff walked into a nightmare. Cathedral Hall Academy was not a school, it was a trap, which should have been a place of learning, became a place of control, of fear, and of unchecked abuse. Well, when the young woman was left alone with him, John Paul allegedly gave her a hug and moved his hands down her back, past her waist and underneath her clothing, touching her bare butt, the suit says. Now, John Paul, to be clear, has not been criminally charged for any of these allegations of sexual misconduct. These are being done in civil court. We do remember when he was arrested back in November for battery. That landed him in criminal court. That was after an alleged confrontation near his church. I have 2 great guests standing by to dig into these new lawsuits. I want to welcome them in now. The attorney representing Micah Miller's sister, Regina Ward, is back on the program with us, and want to welcome in award-winning journalist and the co-host of the True Sunlight and Cup of Justice podcast, Liz Farrell. Good morning to you both. I'm so happy to have you both here. Let's dig in on these lawsuits if we can. Regina, I want to start with you, tapping into your legal expertise. How much teeth do you think these 2 suits have?
Yes, well, you know, just like with any type of lawsuit, there's going to be strengths and weaknesses. And one of the first weaknesses that would have been approached by any defense attorney is the statute of limitations with regard to bringing the suit. But Attorney Hood, who authored the lawsuits, just stopped that dead in its tracks, I feel like, by citing what's referred to as repressed memories, which allows for the statute of limitations to be told until the victim, the memory resurfaces.
Yes, you know, and I'm so glad you brought that up. This is such an important point, Regina. Thank you. I want to show everyone a little excerpt we pulled from the suit. And we know that the allegation is that there was a rape back in 1998. She's saying she went to a church service with her grandparents. She alleges John Paul forced her out of the building into a truck where he assaulted her. And then 20 years later, the same woman was in Myrtle Beach out with a friend. They see John Paul, and she said that's when he went to hug her, shoved his hands down her pants, touching her genitals without her consent. That repressed memory, as you noted, Regina, is what she says brought it all back so many years later. Liz Farrell, you wrote a brilliant article on this for Luna Shark Media. Talk to us, please, about the things that you found throughout your investigation of this guy.
I could talk for hours about the investigation into this guy, and not only him, but his father as well. We're starting to realize the generational inheritance here that John Paul Miller got from his father, who is also a pastor. So I would say the thing that I'm learning most, though, is that the amount of betrayal that has happened, not just to the victims, but their families, to the church members who have invested a lot of time, faith, energy, money into both of these men, it's very sad.
You're so right. You're so right, Liz. You know, and I'm curious if you know, I was just seeing some reporting and some allegations. I understand that there are court records filed by, it would be John Paul's father's ex-wife and also John Paul's ex-wife that I understand paint a picture of John Paul being abused by his dad. Liz, have you found that to be correct?
So we can only go by what's in the court documents, and we have seen texts where he has referenced that abuse, but that's all we know about it.
Yeah, so really no confirmation. I just wondered because sometimes, not always, but sometimes people who are abused then perpetuate that abuse. And Regina, it seems to me with this guy, I'm seeing some themes thematically kind of woven through, you know, his life and these different allegations. And I'm just seeing themes of fear, of power and control, people that just seem scared to death to talk or go against this guy. What have you found, Regina, since you've been representing Micah's sister?
Yes, and I just want to correct the record too. I represented Micah during her divorce action, which was actually a separate maintenance and support. And then when she passed away, I represented the family through navigating through the probate as well as the civil action. There has been a common theme. It's gone back for a long time. What it really boils down to is something that I'm really adamant about, and that is getting coercive control legislation enacted. He has displayed many aspects of what is the epitome of coercive control and the type of emotional abuse that occurs in a coercive control situation. Mm-hmm. And can I just tell you, today is a very important today. Today would have been Micah's 31st birthday. So today's a somber day for her family, very much so.
Regina, thank you for mentioning that. We certainly want to remember Micah here. We're not forgetting about her. We're going to keep this conversation going. I want to play for you both that 911 call that she made, essentially saying that she was about to commit suicide.
Tell me what's happened.
I'm about to kill myself, and I just want my family to know where to find me.
Oh my gosh. Liz, I want to go back to you. What does it seem that Micah was trying to do there? Was this a cry for help? Kind of describe for us where you think she was, where her head was, what she might have been feeling, perhaps at the hands of her husband.
I would say it was the end of the line for her. She had reached out to the police many, many times over the previous few months, trying to get some sort of help with John Paul's alleged stalking, his relentless pursuit of her. And I just think at that moment, she wanted to make sure that her body went to her family and not him. Mm-hmm. That's honestly what I think about it. I think that she just wanted his control, his alleged control over her to end. And that probably brought her some peace. And I think we need to not look past the fact that that phone call is what rings heavy in the ears of the Jane Does, because perhaps had they spoken up earlier, and this is to their mind, they carry this guilt that they could have saved Micah.
That's a great point, Liz. You know, oftentimes victims blame themselves. We know that when they shouldn't, but they feel shame, they feel guilt, they feel afraid to speak up. Regina, tell me, when you were representing Micah, were you getting a picture that her relationship with John Paul had been an abusive one?
Absolutely. The things that she shared with me exactly mimic a video that she put out that he had done terrible, and I mean terrible things to her. And I actually wanted to, you know, I offered up, I said, you know, you need to pursue a divorce on the grounds of adultery and physical cruelty. But she was just at a place that she wanted to be done with him. She didn't want scorched earth tactics. She also was very concerned about the church itself. She didn't want the church to, you know, the man doesn't represent the church, as she would say, the church is the people. And so she was very concerned about that. She didn't want to go through a contested divorce. There had been a divorce filing previously by her that was dismissed, one by him that was dismissed. And she had finally gotten to this place where she was reconciling that she was, you know, ready to go through this separation period and then a divorce. And she had this grand plan that she just beamed when she spoke about it, of being, part of a mission. She felt like she had found her calling. So, for me to hear that call, lots of things go through my mind. It's kind of, unbelievable to me. But at any rate, we are where we are. Her life and this, tragedy that's happened to her has brought, social attention to this problem that's not only just in a relationship, but also obviously is happening in the church. And it's been really sad.
Yeah, it's horrible. A beautiful life gone far too soon. We're going to continue talking about this case. We're not done with this one. 31 years old, Micah Miller would have been today had she not died the way that she did. Regina Ward, Liz Farrell, thank you both for the great insight. Liz, keep up the great reporting work. And Regina, I know you've been a tremendous advocate for the family. Let us know if any developments occur in the next couple weeks, and we'll talk again soon. Thank you kindly.